Grant, in relation to when people look out, they say League One to the Championship, and they say maybe outside of the footballing world, outside of yourself and players, they will say, well, that's not maybe that big of a jump in terms of the Championship to the Premiership. Is that really a false dawn in terms of you see yourselves and Petersburg down towards the bottom? It's been a sort of a struggle. Is there a real jump in quality from the League One to the Championship, and do people underestimate that jump?
It's massive. I think it's a bigger jump from League One to the Championship than it is from the Championship to the Premier League.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I think this league is split into like three. It's almost like three leagues in one. The Championship, you get the top 3 or 4, the West Brom, the Fulhams, the Bournemouths, the budgets they've got. Then you get the next band of teams, and then you've got the ones that you probably see now floating around the bottom of the league. So I think the jump is massive financially, given the budgets, etc. in this division. It's huge. I think if you look at the jump from the Championship, teams like Brentford and stuff like that, they're well prepared to go in there and perform in the Premier League, and they've got the finance to back it up as well. So I really do. I think the jump from League One to the Championship is really, really big, and it is a difficult competition, but we're enjoying every moment and not liking the defeats. Don't get me wrong, we're not liking them. It's hurting, but we're enjoying every challenge every week.
I suppose, Grant, in terms of the table, people will look at it, but it's so clustered around the middle of the table as well that a few wins put you into that bunch. Anywhere from 10th down to 17th, there's always, in the Championship, there's only around 2 or 3 points between, or a game or win or loss can propel you 4 or 5 places. That's very different compared to the Premier League as well, where it's the top and the bottom are sort of cut off. But the Championship, it's easy to get on a run and jump 5 or 6 places all of a sudden.
You're right, and the team I was talking about is down at the minute is Bristol City and Reading. 19 points they're on. I think they're only 6 points off the top 6, and they're on 19th, 19th, 18th in the division. I think you're right. I think it's getting the first one. Obviously, that's our first goal, is to try and win the next game, and the next one's is Barnsley. We want to try to go there and get 3 points, and then try and get a bit of momentum after the international break, and see if we can move up the division. But everything's going to come from how we work, how we stay structured, discipline in our shape, and making sure we're well organised.
And finally, for me, Grant, do you feel a bit misfortunate towards Marcus Shop and the position that he found himself? Barnsley massively, given their resources, overachieved last year with their manager. Obviously, he went on to manage West Brom now as well. So coming in, there was always going to be a difficult gig, and I suppose trying to settle down and trying to reinvent themselves with players obviously left the club as well. So he really didn't get much time really to bed in his philosophies at Oakwell. And do you feel a bit of sympathy towards Marcus and the position that he found himself?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you're right. It was always a hard gig for him going there to replicate in terms of what they'd done of last season. Obviously, getting into the top 6 and into the playoffs, and it was tough ask for him. But yeah, timing. Obviously, it's difficult. To see managers lose. I think it was the other day, 3 managers lost their job on the same day. It's just difficult. It's at that time of season, Jim. You see a lot of managers losing their jobs at this point in time. People do probably, what's the word? Panic. Maybe coming up to the January transfer window, and maybe that's what's happened there at Barnsley a little bit. But listen, there's 2 assistants there taking the team at this present time, and we know it's going to be a tough